What if you were cast to play the role of a young, balding man? Maybe for a movie, maybe for a play. But they needed someone who was balding and young. Let's pick this apart. Hi, I'm Nick Shell. And really, I'm an actor. I'm an actor, I'm telling you. That's why I can draw a crowd by talking about hair loss when I haven't really lost most of my hair. I'm an actor. And I'm a fake psychologist. I help people psychologically deal with image issues, hair loss, self-esteem, confidence, the identity of what it means to be a man. I'm an actor and I'm a fake psychologist. I'm Nick Shell. That's what I do, okay? And I want to tell you this. Now, when I say I'm an actor, I have been acting most of my life. So growing up, it's funny, this is how it happened too. So growing up, there's always school plays, and guys typically didn't want to be in the play. They didn't want to go up in front of the class or on stage and say a few lines. Typically the guys didn't want to do it. And I guess they're like, Nick, will you do it? Okay. So I did it very reluctantly. And that happened enough times in my elementary school years that eventually I started taking more mainstream roles. I remember the summer after 4th grade, the play was Snow White, and they needed Prince Charming. Prince Charming had very little lines, but he needed to exist. They needed someone to just do that because so few guys were interested in acting. So parts like that, where it was more about the image, the concept that Prince Charming exists, and there we go. That leads to more speaking lines. That leads to lots of experience so that by the time I'm in high school, I'm acting that much more. Again, in my church plays, school plays, even in college, I'm acting. I'm an actor, okay? And part of the reason is because I'm so bad and apathetic towards math and science. Just don't care. So I'm an actor. That's what I do. I've said it before in other videos. I understand emotions so well that I'm not actually an emotional guy. America especially is so offended. Anything can offend somebody, right? But what if you're the guy who's not offended by stuff? What if you don't let those other people control your emotions, okay? So what you're able to do, like me, is you are able to manipulate other people's emotions so that when you finally do act emotional, that I sometimes do on this channel, it's for theatrical effect. It's to manipulate you into thinking a certain thing, even though I'm not actually emotionally feeling that. I'm making you think that I am. I'm an actor and a fake psychologist. Now, with that being said, now you know a little bit of background about me. What I want you to imagine is this. We all have our DNA that ultimately determines what we're going to look like, right? And for many of us, our DNA has already predetermined that we are going to go bald through our life at some point. Maybe your DNA says you're going to stop at Norwood 2 at age 23 and then you're good, you're fine. Maybe your DNA says by age 23 you're not going to have much hair up there at all. You can't choose your DNA, it's already been decided for you. And I think what happens is a lot of guys that have the gene, have the DNA that's going to cause them to go bald sooner are fighting that DNA. They're fighting that concept of that would be their identity. So imagine if it were like this. Imagine if there was audition for a play, and this one guy reluctantly, like I always was at first, reluctantly shows up because maybe there was a cute girl there that he wanted to be around, and it gave him an excuse to be around her and get to know her. Okay, there's the motivation. But this guy, and when should this play be? Let's say this play is in high school or it's in college. So you're starting to see, oh man, I might be the guy that goes bald soon. I don't know, my hair, other guys have even pointed out how high my forehead is and that I've got a receding hairline. Oh no. So you've already got that in your head, yet still, cute girl, she's gonna audition to be in this play. You're gonna try to get some part in the play to be around this girl. All right, so imagine, and this is all just makeup, I'm making it up as I go, but imagine they need a guy to fill this one role, and it needs to be a young guy who's balding. For whatever reason in this play, they need a guy who is young and balding. So, you don't want to do it. Who wants that? Who wants that identity? You don't want to do that. You want to be the lead character, the romantic lead, but yet you don't really care about acting. You're just there to be around the girl. So they're like, would anybody read for this part? This young guy that's starting to go bald, would anybody play this part? Now, finally, because no one else will, and you see one of your buddies look at you like, you go for it. And immediately you get the part. You only had a few lines, but you got the part. And ultimately this play was about self-esteem and how the guy that wasn't the good-looking jock guy still ended up being most respected by his peers. I'm making all this up, but yeah, you can see it's an allegory to real life, can't you? Okay? No one really would want to play that role. No one would want to choose to look the way of a young balding man. Yet some of us, some of you, I can't say some of us because I'm closer to 40 than anything at this point, but some of you are going to have to play that part. And it's not something that anyone would hope for. It's not that anything that anyone would wish for. No one would be happy about playing that part. I know I wouldn't have been. But what if that's the part you're meant to play? And what if your life wasn't actually worse because you were the young guy with the tall forehead and the noticeably receding hairline in his late teens or early 20s? What if? What if life wasn't actually worse because of that? I mean, one thing I'm even thinking about now, as an American, this is supposed to be the greatest country on earth. We're the richest, we're the most powerful. But that doesn't mean that Americans are happier than the rest of the world. In fact, they do that survey every year, that report that shows Americans are actually not the happiest country in America as far as happiness, as far as contentment goes. Americans are not the happiest, yet we have the most. Think about that. Think about how you could be the guy that's younger, balding, tall forehead, yet you could still be happier than these other guys with a full head of hair, and they have less confidence than you, maybe because they are depending on their looks so much, and you're learning not to depend on your looks in the same way. I'm Nick Shell. I'm an actor, and I'm a fake psychologist. And if you've made it this far into this long video, I'll tell you another little secret. Write this down. The Lifetime Network, February 20th, 8 o'clock Central Time.